Alright, hey guys, what's up? My name is Mason, I'm from California, and today we're going to talk about the Korean War. Wow, I think it's almost been 60 or 70 years since the Korean War last ended. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not good at history. It was probably one of my weakest subjects back when I was in primary school. I remember I was placed in an advanced history class in high school, but because I wasn't good at it, I asked the teacher to move me down to like just basic U.S. history. So yeah, and I first learned about Korean War when I was in maybe junior or senior in high school. And then in college, because my major was international relations, so I had to take another history class. And in that history class, I also learned more details about the Korean War. So we're going to briefly talk about the Korean War and what I remember. What I remember I learned from my classes. I might not get everything accurate, and I might say some things that are, just kind of wrong. So if I do misinform you guys or say something that just doesn't sound right, please let me know. So anyways, let's get started, shall we? Alright, so I think it's important to know that before the Korean War happened, the world was pretty chaotic at the time. You had the Cold War that happened around, I think, the 1910s, 1930s. Oh gosh, see, I'm not good at dates and years. But anyways, it was pretty much a world between communism and maybe capitalism, and then there's also socialism on that side. But socialism and communism at that time, from the Western perspective, they were pretty much not good in the Western eyes. It was pretty much like that, and Korea at one time was controlled by Japan. And after Japan surrendered Korea was divided on the 38th parallel. So the northern part was controlled by communists, and then the southern part was controlled by the Americans. So it was like that, and then the Korean War lasted from 1950 to 1953. So the war lasted for 3 years. And during this time, it was just lots of going back and forth. At one time, the communists almost captured the entire Korea, and then at one point, the Americans almost captured the northern part of Korea. And then Seoul, which is the capital of Korea, was captured 3 to 4 times. So lots of going back and forth. And because they have a lot of things that are going back and forth, there was a law of destruction in the city. So that's what happened. That's what briefly happened. And eventually, for one of the interesting things that I remember from my college history class was that at one point, when the UN forces almost captured the entire Korea, and I remember one of the soldiers got really greedy and wanted to capture the northern part of China. I'm not sure. That was probably one of the most interesting things that my history professor told me, because I didn't know about that. So he got greedy, right? So he wanted to push and capture the northern part of China, and he really wanted to eliminate communism, since it's not an ideal system in the world. But after that, a surprise attack from the communists. So you have like the Russians and the Chinese. They were able to capture back the northern part of Korea, and then once again, we're back in the middle, in the 30th parallel. And so the war officially ended on 1953. So a peace treaty was made. So a treaty was made that year, and there was an agreement between North Korea and South Korea. It was basically, I think a peace treaty. However, the war never officially ended. I think that's what's really important. The war never really ended. Because the war never ended, you still right now you still have North Korea developing nuclear weapons. You hear it in news from time to time, North Korea we have this new nuclear weapon. We're actually a powerful country because we have all these weapons. And then, in South Korea right now, we still have some of the American bases to protect South Korea, if anything does happen in the future. But that's where we are right now. Nothing's really going on. The war never officially ended, so technically we're still kind of at war, but nothing's really going on. And it's very uncertain at this point. We don't know when it's going to be officially over. And that's what I remember from my history class. And I think the most important thing to take away from the Korean War is that there were a lot of casualties. One of the deadliest wars after Vietnam War, definitely. And I think it's very important to recognize these soldiers' efforts and to their contribution to the war. Because a lot of people lost their lives, a lot of families got separated at this time too. And so some families still have some of the families are still separated. And I remember I was on YouTube and there were some videos on north and southern family reunion type of video. That only happens once in a while. So I think it's very important to realize that not only was it deadly, but a lot of families got separated, and it's very, very sad. And even to this day, a lot of people in North Korea are still suffering. Lots of news reports that people in North Korea are starving, and then basically not ideal place to live under a one-man country state. So that's why you have a lot of people escaping from North Korea. And that's kind of where we are today. What are your guys' thoughts about the Korean War and where we are now? Really curious on what you guys think. I think for me, hopefully, eventually there's always going to be that one day where everything will be not necessarily over. That's because I don't think that's the appropriate word of saying it, but eventually, peace will be made, and hopefully everyone will be safe. And I think everyone deserves to live a good life, because you only get to live once. And I think, cherish the moment. Don't take life for granted. And I am very grateful for what I have. And learning about history, not only is it educational, but I also feel I feel a sense of passion and sympathy for what happened in the past. Because I never got to experience that, so I think it's very important to learn about it and remember the details. And by remembering the details, you get to know why everything up into the first place is where we are now. So yeah, so that's all I have to say. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Bye.